They became increasingly parodic, do you not think?
They do become, and largely unreadable. Anybody read The Killed 6,000?
Yeah. Well, actually,
have you liked it?
I really liked it.
Right, what about Perfidia? What about
Some people
Perfidia?
like it. Perfidia's like Finnegan's Wake. Every
I
sentence.
still wanted to like that.
You can't, can you?
Yeah.
Every sentence is so heavily packed with information and subtext, you can't be turning the pages.
Well, I don't know whether it's true, and the story I always heard, I got sent as a review of the Telegram in the 90s a copy of White Jazz, which was the fourth of the DLA quartet, right? And the publishers then got in touch and said, can we have it back? Because it's not right. And I immediately thought, oh gosh, I've got something valuable. Yeah. If there was an eBay, it would have been on there. And they said, no, you got the wrong version. It's the second draft or something. And it's going to be redone. He's rewriting it at the moment. And this turned out to be true. And so they got all the copies for the English one. And what he was doing was rewriting the American version. Right? And so they were all brought in, and I happily gave it back. Because I couldn't understand it, to be honest. I mean, 490 pages without a verb. But they
slight exaggeration.
It felt like that. And anyway, off it went. Time passes. 6 months later, it's announced the book is actually eventually going to be published in Britain, but has already come out in France. And the Duff copies, were sent to the French translator and not recalled. So the French translator translated the indecipherable, and the French loved it. It was #1 bestseller.
Elroy is responsible for neo-noir because there are two great neo-noir films. One is LA Confidential, the other is Chinatown. I don't know if anybody remembers going to see Chinatown in the cinema. You saw the perfect marriage of the 1940s private eye movie with Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway and beautiful widescreen colour photography. It's quite difficult to bring that off, that marriage of classic noir and modern.
Well, you said Elroy was responsible for that somehow.
Well, he wrote LA Confidential, but not the film.
But Chinatown, didn't it?
No, that's Robert Towne.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because that's the writer, Robert Towne, who's best known as a screenwriter. But he got everything right, didn't he? He got everything right in that movie. And there's a terrible... Anybody seen The Two Jakes?
Yeah.
What happened? Well, they didn't get Roman Polanski to direct it.
Well, they fell out. Robert Towne was supposed to direct that.
Oh,
they had a falling out, so old Jack ended up having to direct it. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So, I mean, Dennis Lehane, I guess, would he come under the kind of
yes.
noir rubric a bit?
But I think it's interesting now that you've got a wide variety of careers. A writer like Dennis Lehane is also writing, and George Pelecanos, for The Wire. And I don't think we can extricate anymore the novels, and we all watched The Wire and The Sopranos, and long-form TV suddenly appeared, where American crime writing was as much about The Sopranos and The Wire and those great shows, taking their time, the way the Scandinavians do. See, I put that in for them. Another
Can I ask one more thing? I just thought about noir, which is gone now. But I mean, my definition was always, you know, from page 1 that this isn't going to end well, right? for the protagonist, right? And how many of the authors in there can you say that about a recent book?
Yes, that's true. There is a big difference between the classic noir of the movies and the early novels, is that women are no longer, the femme fatales are not so evident still. Women and women's sexuality was a kind of negative. It is in Chandler, isn't it? It's always a woman.
What was the aim of the war? It was trying to get women back out of the factories and back at home, so they thought that the nice woman was the one who...
But now I don't think any writer could get away with that. You can have an evil woman in a book, but the evil women are usually written by women these days.
Well, you know Sarah Beinman, who used to write, American, used to be a big reviewer, but she's gone fairly quiet the last couple of years. She's writing. But she came up with this theory of the current, what you might call domestic noir.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm just thinking of Dennis Lehane's new one.
Yeah.
And it's now becoming for a woman reader, this is Sarah talking, it's coming down to a question of whether the heroine is TSL, too stupid to live, or just batshit crazy. And those are the lines that are blurred.
Too stupid to live. Because that's what I mentioned meeting Highsmith when I was 20. That's one of the things she said to me. And I said, you seem to be on the side of the men who murder your women. And she said, well, yes, women are a pretty stupid sex. And that's what the picture of Highsmith said to me. I said, but do they deserve to be murdered?
Oh,
she said, a lot of women deserve to be murdered. That might have been just a position with a young journalist she was taking.
It comes from years of living in Suffolk.
Is it really?
But did the thriller, the British thriller, did it kind of die because the different genre came on, or was it because they were doing it on film better?
I think, well, I mean, they were very closely linked with film. And the one thing I discovered, which I didn't know, was that exactly the same time as HMS Ulysses came out, there was a big vogue because anybody who had wartime experience and could write, anybody who was a journalist who had wartime, well, you know, give them a typewriter, let go. And a young actor called Anthony Quayle wrote 2 thrillers based on his, I didn't know, he'd been in special operations exactly during the war. He'd been parachuted into Albania. They're pretty awful books, but I mean, he always had an exciting life. And they were odd because both missions failed. But he wrote 2 thrillers, never wrote any more, and then went on to star in Ice Cold in Alex, Guns Navarone, Where Eagles Dare.
It's always Greek.
You know, the last.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
But also, so you mentioned failed plots. That's the interesting thing about Casino Royale, is that's based on Fleming's own wartime experiences. But he didn't manage to win in the casino. He lost MI5's money. But then when in Casino Royale, Bond wins against the chief.
So that's what you were saying earlier about it being the opposite of what actually happened. But
you asked why there was a great connection, and I think there came a time when you thought the influence of the war, the Second World War, which was huge on thriller writers, both in plots and on their own experiences, that eventually waned, and in the 60s you had genuine scares.
Sorry, I'm not sure what you said.
Neither was I.
you mean you couldn't hear?
No, that was. Did you say that, Emily, or was that electronic?
No.
An electronic
Yes, it
voice.
was. Come on.
It was.
Sounded like it came over there.
Yeah, it was an electronic voice. I knew that wasn't a real
That was
person.
like
Oh, it's Siri! It was Siri!
You've got Siri involved in
Talk
this.
to Siri! Come on!
You got anything to say about that? But isn't the problem with the British thrillers is that you mentioned...
Are you getting this now, Siri?
A little louder.
But Alistair MacLean, who starts it all, quickly his books start to. He told me to be controversial. They become formulaic. The first hours, and then
Well,
by the time of Where Eagles Dare, it's already a formula.
No, now we're going to have a fist fight later because I have this long-running argument with somebody down the front row. I maintain that Alistair MacLean didn't write anything good after Ice Station Zebra.
No, right, that's the last good
Which is 63. Yeah, I thought that.
Because it's always 4 men on a mission. There's a traitor in the group.
So six men.
6 men.
Yeah.
Okay. And the
A woman
traitor.
called Mary.
Yeah. Okay.
Always
And the
men.
woman might be the traitor, as in.
No,
I'm not going to say it in case nobody's seen the Guns of Navarone.
No, but hang on, doesn't all crime fiction depend on formulae?
Oh yeah. Yes.
You can't,
Yeah.
you
But
can't live without
I think
formulae. can you?
why the original question, before being so rudely interrupted by the internet, was when the collapse or the break up. And I think eventually there was. I've also said everybody knew everything there was to know about World War II, but then MacLean produces Where Eagles Dare, and you put Richard Burton, Clint Eastwood, and a lot of bullets, and it's a huge hit. And then you get other ones as well. But Forsyth comes after that with Day of the Jackal and the Decipher, and then Jack Higgins with Eagle Has Landed, 76, 75. So it's still staggered on. But basically, if I was pushed, I think one of the reasons the adventure thriller started to decline was that people had discovered Ryanair because they could go abroad.
Yes, they could go
People
abroad.
didn't travel in the 50s from this country.